what is up, music fans? This is Jeremy with Uppercut Productions. I'm back with part 4 of this mixing series, mixing the Black Crown. The song is Flames. In the last video, we dialed in this drum sound. Let's give it a little bit of a listen, see what we dialed in. And there'll be a link to that video down below when we dialed in that video. Give me a like and a sub while you're down there. It helps the channel out a ton. In this video, we're going to dive in and mix this bass. So let's dive in and check it out. Here we are back inside the box. Let's check out the bass, how I have it right now with the drums. This is after I've mixed it off camera with my speakers, not headphones. Alright, let's build this up piece by piece. We will turn off all of the processing and solo just the bass amp sound that they sent. This is the bass player's amp. Not a bad sound. This is the amp with virtual tape machine and virtual mix rack with FG stress and my normal SSL groove, a little bit of Hollywood saturator, and this is set on the bass guitar Tubi Opto. I'm going to toggle off the virtual mix rack right here with this button. The check mark is on, without the check mark is off. So I just elevated their bass sound, and there's a lot of pick noise that I'll get out of there with a gate later. Here is that same bass amp sound with Tone Forge or Bass Forge Hellraiser. It's the Brute Boy setting, but I've changed all of the settings. These presets are just a jumping off point. So here's the amp sound with the DI sound. So then after that, I duplicated the DI sound. And of course it has my every channel has the virtual tape machine and mix rack. I ran the duplicated signal through a high gain amp, and I cut everything below 500 hertz and everything above 2K. So let's hear that by itself. It'll just be a mid-range bass sound that's dirty as hell. Alright, so let's hear all three of those together. And all three of those are running into this bus. Alright, let's check out what magic I have on my bus. Okay, all buses are going into virtual tape machine, virtual mix rack on my bus setting with my Brit 4KE. Then it goes into a Infinity EQ. I'm cutting everything below 38. Let's go more like 35. And everything above like 4 to 5K. And it's a very gentle slope with Infinity EQ. Then I have it running into Joel Wanasek's Bus Glue. So let's check this out. I'm going to toggle it on and off to make sure our volume is set correctly. You don't want your compressor to add volume, but you also don't want it to take away. You want it to add the compression and some vibe. Ooh, you hear that nasally, cheap bass sound? This is without, and then I'll toggle it on and off. Again, with the check mark means the plug-in is activated. Without the check mark means it's not. And it just gives it that beef, because I have you can choose if you want your bass above or below your kick with this plugin. 3 different distortions. You can compress your top signal, your bottom signal, and it just nails your bass in place to where you don't want your bass to wobble. Let's hear that with the drums. And of course, when I get into the fine tuning, I'll get some of those string noises out of there. Let's go ahead and listen to the guitar sound from the amps, how it was sent. Let me turn off all my processing. Here is their guitar amp tone. Let's hear it by itself. Not bad. Kind of lifeless and a lot of low end. Let's add in my virtual tape machine and virtual mix rack. We'll cut some low end, take out some 4K and some 3K, lots of 3K, add in some 8 and some 10. Alright, and that's going into a bus. Let's hear my bus processing. Let's toggle this on and off, make sure it's not adding or taking away any volume. Here's without. And this chug slayer, this is Joel Wanasek's guitar Bus Glue. Chug slayer just takes out the low end on the chunks to where it doesn't overpower. Add some harmonic awesomeness, and it pretty much nails the guitar in place just like the bass. Let's hear that with the bass and the drums. I'm going to toggle off Wanasek's, and it shouldn't really add anything except tone and flavor. Not over compressing, not over processing, just a good amp tone. Let's move on to these DIs. Here's how I have it now. I'll turn off my bus processing. We will turn off the virtual tape machine. We set up these amp sims kind of in the last video. We have Ben Bruce on the left side, panned hard left, and then we have Toneforge Jeff Loomis, panned hard right, with the Bogren and the 57, and on Ben Bruce I have it with a condenser mic. Everything's turned on, everything's good. So let's add in my virtual tape machine and virtual mix rack on just those 2 channels. And again, just cutting some lows and some 4K, adding a little bit of high. These amp sims always have a lot of high end. You're mainly going to be cutting over boosting. Let's hear that guitar bus processing. And it's the same. Tape machine, virtual mix rack, EQ, cutting some annoying frequencies, boosting some good frequencies, cutting everything below 120, everything above around 8K, and going into Joel Wanasek's Bus Glue. Just to add some thump, let's hear those DIs with the amp sound. Just makes it extra wide, and I love having that option. I hate it when they don't send me a DI track to work with, because it's like tying my hands behind my back. Here's with the bass and the drums. And that's how I would dial in the bass and guitar sound on this song. Come back and we'll get to the vocals, and I'll show you how I use my effects for vocals and the full mix. Check me out. Get with Uppercut. Get knocked out. Thanks for watching.